I've got my top 10 must adds in fantasy baseball, and that list is coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I'm going to give you my top 10 must adds ahead of the official start of the Major League Baseball season. If you like this content, then please smash that like button. And a special thanks goes to all of our subscribers who have been watching these videos, as you now account for almost 27% of all viewers. To the other 73% of viewers that haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so, as it helps me create these videos for you. Also, leave a comment on a player that you think deserves to be on this list. Now, before I jump in, I'd like to talk about a brand new way to get fantasy baseball advice. Check it out. Hey guys, I know a lot of you have burning fantasy baseball questions, and I can now get to more of those with the help of a brand new exciting product from our partner, Q Platforms. For a small fee, I will personally respond to your questions. You'll get a brief audio response sent discreetly to your email. It couldn't be easier, and I'm excited for this new way to engage. Just go to askmeonq.com/beattheodds to submit your request today. That's askmeonq, spelled QU.com/beattheodds. Or click on the link in the description box below. Q is a quick and easy way to get the information that you need to win your fantasy or DFS league. And it helps support the channel, so try it out today. Okay, let's dive right into this list. At number 10, we have Will Benson, 20% owned, 43 at-bats in the spring, 10 runs scored, 2 homers, 5 runs batted in, 6 stolen bases, and a .209 average. Benson checks in at number 10 on this list because of the injury to TJ Friedl. He's not guaranteed a full-time spot, but the lefty will likely see the majority of at-bats while Friedl recovers. What intrigues me the most is that there's a shot that Benson leads off, as he did in last night's exhibition tilt against Colorado. His 6 steals this spring are not a fluke. His 28.8 feet per second speed is in the 88th percentile in the league. Let's go to number 9. We have Michael Busch, 13% owned, 42 at-bats in the spring, 6 runs, 2 homers, 4 runs batted in, 2 stolen bases, and a .238 average. The Cubbies' first baseman will be getting his first real taste of the bigs after logging 81 at-bats in 2023. He raked in the minors, putting up a .1049 OPS with 27 homers and only 390 at-bats. He should be a solid source of damage, hitting near the middle of the order. It's going to take a week or so, but Busch will be gaining first base eligibility very quickly out of the gates. He's widely available and should have a nice role until Patrick Wisdom returns from injury. Let's go to number 8. We've got Chris Bryant, 34% owned, 31 at-bats in the spring, 6 runs, 3 homers, 7 runs batted in, and a .194 average. Is the name brand playing a factor here? Absolutely. So is the park and the place in the order. I think that 34% ownership is low for the Rockies' everyday cleanup hitter. Let's not forget a few important details. Bryant is still only 32. He's far enough removed from injury that you can consider him for a bounce-back season this year, and the last full season from Bryant, we saw 25 homers and 10 stolen bases with an .834 OPS and 513 at-bats. I say he's still worth the look. Let's go to number 7. We have Jake Cronenworth, 22% owned, 25 at-bats in the spring, 2 runs, 2 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .240 average. One of the takeaways from the Soul Series is that Cronenworth was slotted in the number 3 spot on a capable Padres squad, and he responded by going 4 for 4 with 2 runs scored and 4 runs batted in the 15-11 slugfest on Thursday. Although he doesn't lean into his speed while on the base paths, he's a smart base runner, and he could be able to push through an 85-run season if he can hold on to that pivotal spot in the lineup. Let's go to number 6. We've got J.P. Crawford, 56% owned, 36 at-bats in the spring, 7 runs scored, a homer, 5 runs batted in, and a .333 average. Slated to hit leadoff in what's bound to be a deeper lineup this year, JP is a great player to add to any squad. He was knocking on a 20-homer, 100-run season last season, and there's no reason to think that he can't do that again in 2024. When talking about Crawford's effectiveness at the plate, his batting eye doesn't get enough praise. He got on base in 38% of his appearances last season thanks to a 14.7 walk rate. Let's go to number 5. We have Max Meyer, 19% owned, 7 innings pitched in the spring, 5 strikeouts, no runs scored, .71 whip. Now this might be a short-term ad, but you should really give Max Meyer a look. Opponents hit a mere 207 off of Meyer in the minors, in large part due to his filthy wipeout slider. He's coming back from Tommy John surgery, and he's also filling in a spot in the depleted Marlin rotation for the time being. The former number 3 pick in 2020, Meyer could be a fun player to own in the season's first few weeks. Going to number 4, we have AJ Puck, 53% owned, 13.2 innings pitched in the spring, a win, 23 strikeouts, a 1.32 ERA, and a 1.17 whip. Sticking with the Marlins, and of course a much longer term pickup, AJ Puck is looking like he could have a breakout season as a starter. His spring showcased his arsenal, and I'm as excited as any to see how that translates when the games start to count. I would bet on no more than 140 innings pitched from the talented lefty, but he can rack up 180 strikeouts with solid ratios. Going to number 3, we have Griffin Jax, 49% owned, 7.2 innings pitched in the spring, 12 strikeouts, no runs scored, and a .39 whip. Jax is Exhibit A for why you don't have to load up on closers early in the draft. If you can jump on these opportunities when they arise, you can usually patch together saves over the course of the season. Jax has been lights out this spring and looks to capitalize on the opportunity to close out games in April. Joan Duran won't be sidelined very long, but even when he returns, Jax remains a good player to roster in leagues that count holds. Let's go to number 2. We've got Henry Davis, 22% owned, 39 at-bats in the spring, 7 runs scored, 4 homers, 11 runs batted in, and a .308 average. Go get Henry Davis. I repeat, go get Henry Davis. Welcome to the best catcher that went mostly undrafted in fantasy leagues this year. Yes, he's catching, not manning the outfield as his fantasy position suggests. As an outfielder, he's still roster worthy, but as a catcher, especially if he claims 500 at-bats hitting in the middle of the Pirates' order, he could top 5 that position by season end. And finally, at number 1, we've got Mitch Garver, 59% owned, 34 at-bats in the spring, 5 runs scored, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in, and a .265 average. Like Henry Davis, Mitch Garver also represents a good reason not to panic if you haven't selected a catcher in the first 15 rounds of a fantasy draft. Garver slides in as a cleanup hitter on a team that shouldn't struggle to put runs on the board. Add to that, Garver will not be catching for the team. That task goes to both Cal Raleigh and Seby Zavala, meaning that Garver should be healthy to take 550 plate appearances this season as the team's primary DH. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and of course subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm going to sign off for now, but I will catch you guys on the next episode.